Are you ready? This is going to be the best intro ever.
Go on then.
Oh, I'm too nervous now.
I'm too nervous. You do it. You do it.
Ha 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 ha.
Interesting things said by uninteresting people. Show hosted by Ben and Tom. Interesting things said by uninteresting people.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Interesting Things Said by Uninteresting People, where we talk about interesting things so that you don't even have to worry about it, mate. My name's Ben, and as always, I am joined by the far more brand-aware half of the podcast, Tom. How are you, mate?
Yes. Oh, well, thank you. How are you, Ben?
I'm very good, mate. Still good from 5 minutes ago.
Excellent. Yeah, we've already had this podcast, as we always do.
Those bonus episodes. Mate, I'm still letting the excitement of non-podcast WandaVision chat wash over me. That's how I've got into the mood for this. You know, that's how I'm
You started
stoked.
off pretty low, but now we're back up.
Now I am hyped. I'm hyped. How are you though, dude? What's been going on?
Been busy. Been really busy with work, which is nice. Busy with YouTube and busy with shooting music videos. Sam, and busy with MCMU, which has been really nice. Yeah, just a classic case of the busies.
Oh, you poor little soul.
What about you?
Dude, I'm all right, man. I'm okay. I think, work is quiet, but I've still got some real life work to do. But I think this is probably, I don't know whether I've said this to you. I can't remember whether I texted you about this, but I'm probably feeling bored for the first time since last March. Yeah, like I think that's what it is. I mean, because I'm still, reading books, I'm still watching TV, I'm still doing the things that I would normally do, getting out and about and doing all this. But I'm still feeling bored. So I feel like that's different, like when you're doing the things you like doing and you still feel that kind of malaise. Yeah. I think that's where I'm at now.
Man, I think in terms of the UK and lockdown, we're hopefully getting towards an opening point at the end of March, maybe. Where things might start opening up. But I think everyone's feeling it. It's just crap not going over other people's houses. That's the one that sucks the most. Like I can forget going in town and that sort of stuff, but not being able to go over, parents, relatives, and all that sort of stuff. It's just It was all right for a few months because that was a nice excuse.
Yeah,
oh, I can't.
I've had a nice break.
Yeah, I can't. But now it's like, nah, sick of it.
I think in a weird kind of way, I almost find it difficult to not be able to do the stuff that not the big stuff. I mean, like the little things that you wouldn't even think about, like, I just need to pop around to pick this up, or I'll just come around and show you this, or whatever it is. Those brief meetings, not the big let's come around and watch a movie or whatever. Yeah, it's like those little interactions. You go, oh no, shit, no, I can't do that. We can't just drop that tool into you or whatever it is.
Yeah, very annoying. But yeah, hopefully, well, who knows? I don't want to make any assumptions.
Don't make, because if you say it on this extremely, extremely important podcast, then that will be it. That'll be the end. That will be the end.
Just go on for another year.
Mate, we've got some quite. I mean, this is the aim of the game, I suppose. We have some quite interesting stuff to talk about today.
Excellent.
There's police involved. There's astronauts involved. Oh man, there's all your typical kids. What do you want to be when you grow up? Professions. If we had some vet news,
isn't it?
I'm gonna have a look. Ready? Vet. I'm not going to put vet news. Veterinary news. Oh, Vet Times. Veterinary news.
Why are you looking this up?
Well, because then we've got all of it. Right.
Oh, right.
So, here we go. Look at this. Okay, so a vet from Herefordshire, Simon Liddon, is going to undertake an epic 3,000-mile Atlantic row.
Okay.
This is on vettimes.co.uk. So, mate, so now, right, consider that all of our kiddie occupation.
All the bases done.
Maybe we can make this a regular... We're not going to make this a regular feature. But, mate, they've got vet podcasts as well. Oh, man, we better get
We're
off
in the wrong game, mate.
We don't want to do cross-promotion with them. See, the thing is, I was kind of worried that if I start looking at vet news or vet podcasts, that we'd get loads of American ex-military support groups and things, which is that's not what we're really after. Wounded heroes, that's not what you want to be when you grow up.
I'm sure we're the last people they want to hear about.
Yeah. So with that out the way, did you? Well, I ask this knowing that I sent it to you. Did you see that video of the cops in America playing music while they're being filmed?
Yeah, it's like it's America all over straight away.
It's like something out of a sci-fi book.
Give us a rundown. Why are they playing music? It's on their cameras, isn't it, or something like that? You give us the.
Well, okay. So what I understand of it, because this has happened more than once now. I know there's been an incident of it in Beverly Hills. I think it's happening other places as well, where basically the police are being filmed, but while they're being filmed, they quickly whip out their phone and start playing some music. And it doesn't really matter what the music is as long as it's famous and recognisable. So I think is it Hey Jude? One of them was playing.
Yeah,
there was another
Beatles
one
song.
of them. What was it? What was this guy playing? Not that it makes that much. Santeria from Sublime, which I don't know. It kind of feels like he's sullying Santeria, but whatever. And the idea is that if you've got licensed music in your video, you can't post it online. So you can't post it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's such a filthy tactic, but it works. Apparently it actually works.
Because it's going to, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even the journalists who are reporting on this are saying, I can't get anyone to pick this story up because they can't post the video.
I guess they couldn't post it unless they took off the audio, but if they take off the audio, then the video could be doctored to say or do anything, couldn't it?
Exactly.
And
then what's the point? It'd be like, here's a video of a policeman in silence. But it's the fact that, especially on Instagram, it's probably not even human. It's an algorithm. It'll be like on Shazam or anything like that, where it knows what you're listening to.
It's a like horrible solution, like you said, but it's also like really cunning. It's such a cunning
really
solution.
Cunning. Yeah,
that's something a fox would do. Really smart. Like, okay, well, if we can't stop these internet people, we'll make the internet stop them.
I know, right? I know, dude.
Very smart.
It is, but I mean,
but very evil.
I know people have different opinions on this, but I just can't get past the issue that the police have with being filmed.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I know that, for example, you can't sue a paramedic. You can't sue a policeman necessarily. It's very difficult to. I don't. Yeah. I know you never could. I don't know whether it's just difficult now. Maybe I could look that up. But it's the idea of that is that the paramedic, for example, doesn't have to worry about being sued while doing their job.
Sure.
So they still know how to do their job, but they don't have to be thinking, this doesn't feel right to have to do this, because I'm sure there are things like that a policeman has to do or a police officer has to do.
Well, yeah, that's it.
That would look suable if you weren't in the know.
Yeah, I guess the thing, I can see why you wouldn't want to be filmed. Like, I wouldn't want to be filmed if I was like working at a till all day. Like, that's just not a very nice feeling. It's like on privacy and all that sort of stuff. But arguably, if you're a policeman and you're just about to like bust down a door or something, then I guess you should know all your rights and that sort of stuff as a policeman. Like, is it okay to do this? Then it shouldn't be a problem if I'm being filmed.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the thing, dude. I think the issue that I can see with it is that the police have an unfortunate history of slapping people around and worse, obviously, to killing people, when they're being filmed or not. So I guess I feel like I would understand it, and if anything, I'm just wanting a world that isn't there. Like, wouldn't it be nice to have a world where the police force go, "Hey, film away." Just film away. Because watch, look, it's fine. Step back, you're in the way. Yeah. But while I'm arresting you, if you want to film me while I'm arresting you, that's fine. Whatever. Because what I'm doing is right.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
almost inviting it. But I know the police hate that.
Yeah, of course.
And I know I'm not on the police. I know I don't have the perspective here. But you'd like to think that that's how it could work.
Definitely. I think it just a lot of with policemen and I guess any emergency services, if you work for them, then going to be working off like adrenaline sometimes as well. If you've suddenly got to arrest somebody and they're resisting, you're going to be firing on all cylinders. Yeah. So it's going to be very easy to accidentally, twist someone's arm the wrong way and perhaps break it. No, that's an extreme version.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Or push someone over and they break their bones, something like that. And then they'd be like, oh, I'll sue them. But, when you're in the heat of the moment, it must be so hard to control.
Like, you kind of want that. You'd kind of want the protection to lie within the police procedure after that, I guess. So what you'd want to happen is still be filmed. If anything, you'd want the copper to be welcoming being filmed so that he can show his superiors, go, look, this is where he was kicking off. This is the bit where I thought he was going to do something dangerous. So this is why I grabbed him like that. Yeah. Which is the only way I could grab him. And that's where his arm, you can see his arm break right there.
Right there. Just rewind it and in slow-mo.
Yeah. Because again, you'd want the police force to be going, yeah, okay. We understand. It's unfortunate that happens sometimes, and we can see why that happened here.
Yeah.
It's mad, I don't know.
Don't police wear cameras anyway in America? Do they wear?
Oh, some of them do, and I think they're the ones that hate it. And there's lots of stories of the cameras just weren't turned on.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. I think it's just the fact that they're having the police, the people who are supposed to be like the paragons of protection and looking out for us, looking after us, they're the ones resorting to a dirty trick so that the public can't see what they're doing. That's weird, man. That doesn't sit right.
They're public servants at the end of the day.
Yeah. Interesting, though.
Very interesting. Interesting things said by
uninteresting people. Mate, it fits the bill.
It fits the bill.
But speaking of semi, well, I mean, what happens if we talk about our own lives, man, is that it's just uninteresting. I mean, for example, if you had any problems with websites, would that be interesting to anyone?
Thanks for that. Easy transition there, Ben. So this is really stupid, and it's such a small thing to say, but I thought I'd say it because it really, I was in tears laughing about this. So I've got a website for freelance work, or just for thitchins.com. If you want to have a look, go check it out. No, it's just for.
Hang on, you have a real life as well as your YouTube superstar personality?
I have a real life, and it's just it's there more than anything to show that I can do video and photo work. That's kind of what it's there for. And I've had it for quite a long time, but I built it on Squarespace, nice and easy. Not that's a sponsor, but if it was a sponsor,
Oh, can you imagine? Those Squarespace ads, they're everywhere, mate. I use Squarespace.
Everywhere.
Maybe we should hit them up.
Yeah. No, I actually, funnily enough, we were talking about influencer marketing before we started this podcast, and that is how I got into it. It was a YouTube channel that I really liked, and I needed a website at the time, and I got 10% off. But yeah,
nice.
Anyway, I've got a website. I mean, I don't spend much time on it because I don't use it massively. It's kind of like an online portfolio more than anything, and it's there if people want to check stuff out. And it's very simple. It serves a very simple purpose. Anyway, did get some freelance work in, and Sam sent. He said, "What's your website link to your photo section? Because I want to, don't want them to have to go through the website to find it, even though it's quite easy to find. Just get them there straight away." So I pasted, sent Sam the link, and just forgot about it. There you go. And he sent me a screenshot back of he posted the link on to this other chap who's going to look at the website, and it just says the URL says thitchins.com/new-page-1.
Ooh.
And I was like, why does it say that? And he said, I don't know, mate, it's your website, why don't you tell me? So I went into the website, and lo and behold, my photo section has been called /new-page-1 since 2018 or whatever.
Oh.
And then
dear.
Yeah, which is horribly amateur, and I guess I just didn't really think that much about it when I was making the pages. I just made them, and but then I was like, I wonder what the other ones are called then. If that's new-page-1, because I've got photo. Sorry, I'm looking at my website now. I've got a photo, video, bite review, and contact. And I clicked video, and video was .com/video2.
Oh.
Bite review was fine because I hadn't enabled anything else that. And then contact was contact/3. It's just so, honestly, I kept looking back through it, and I was like, fucking hell, this is, my website's gone on to someone in the industry, and it just says all this really amateur stuff. I swiftly corrected it all, which took me like 5 minutes. And then I texted
Is that
Sam
how
saying,
easy Squarespace is to use?
Yeah, it is very user
Sorry,
friendly.
mate. I'm just in the habit now of like. Sorry, go on.
And
sorry.
so yeah, I fixed it all. I texted Sam saying I fixed it, and then I thought, oh shit, and I texted Sam back saying, assuming he hopefully has looked at it, because this was a few hours after, but I was like, assuming he hasn't looked at it yet, that link he clicks will no longer work.
Oh, even better. Even better. Dude,
I was laughing for so long about
icing
it.
on the cake.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I guess that's worse than it just being /new-page-1. But yeah, it was really stupid, really silly. It was just, because Sam and Rachel especially are very kind of particular about those sorts of things because that's their jobs and stuff.
Yeah,
but they were absolutely rinsing me for it. I was really, really laughing.
Oh,
every time I thought, when you've gotten over something that's funny, so I'm over it now, and then I just like think about it again and laugh again. It was the gift that kept on giving. I said to Sam, I was like, in a way, I don't mind if I don't get the job because I've been laughing so much about it. It's brought me so much joy.
You know what's going to happen is in conversations now for years to come, years down the line, it'll be like, oh yeah, we're making notes on this project. Tom, I better start a new page 1 for this.
And I'll be dead. But it's because like Sam was saying, what happened to contact 1 and 2? And I was like, I honestly don't know. But it was a great half hour of laughs. But yeah, that was my website woes. It probably doesn't sound that massive to people listening, but it was hilarious.
Do you know what this is going to be, mate? That's going to be the title of this podcast, and it's not going to mean anything to anyone. But it's going to be one of the things. It'll be like the 3 topics. It'll be like, I don't know, cops playing music / and then the actual / new page 1.
But it's all fixed now. But yeah, man, it was a real faux pas in that area, and it really made me laugh.
Oh, I bet, man. Dude.
Those were Tom's website woes.
We could tick that off. Dude, I know we've talked about this before, but I'm interested to see, because obviously you popped this on our list of things we might talk about on the podcast.
Yeah.
I know the feeling of the quest for the perfect note-taking system app.
Yeah.
I know this is vaguely related, with IT troubles and what have you. Why is that on there again now? Like, what fresh hell have you had to come across?
Note-taking stuff?
Yeah.
I'll give a bit of context. So I've been looking for... Yeah, there's so many note-taking apps for iPad, right? And that's one of the main reasons I use the iPad so much, because I take a lot of notes on it. Like, I've pretty much given up on paper notes, because I'm quite a notey sort of person. I'll write stuff down pretty constantly because I find I remember stuff better if I handwrite it rather than type it. And that's a really lame thing to say. People would be sighing and rolling their eyes, but I genuinely do. If I write it, I will, because the process of writing it really makes me go, oh yeah, I've got to do that. So I've always wrote stuff. So, but I've got the iPad, got Apple Pencil. I was like, I need to move over to digital notes. Need to make it a big thing. So I've been using. Like I say, there's loads of note-taking apps. There's some which are like really, really good. There's some that are really shit. And I've just been like going through. I've been like asking people on Twitter, like, what app do you use? Because it's so many to choose from, all this sort of stuff. And loads have been flying around. And I thought I'm gonna make a video about the very best note-taking app for iPad. But you've got to remember, because there's so many, I've like whittled it down to about 6, which is already a lot. Bear in mind, most of them are paid for as well. So I've spent like 40 to 50 quid on fucking note-taking apps.
Yeah, right. Oh, it just feels so dirty.
Yeah, and some of them have been really great. Like, I foreshadowed this like maybe in September last year. I said, look, I'm looking for a better note-taking app. So I was just using the Apple one, and I said in that video, I was like, if anyone's got any recommendations, then let me know, because I want to find the best one. But for me, the best one has got to work on Windows, it's got to work on Mac, and it's got to work on the iPad. It's got to be across all 3, which whittled it down quite nicely. But most of them don't support a PC app. Most of them have a Mac app. A lot of them don't have a PC app, which is a real shame. So, like, there's now subcategories in that video of, like, best for just iPad, best for cross-platform, best for Mac. There's, like... but, yeah, I've just been going through all of them. But the good thing about it is I found some really nice ones. The bad thing about it is now my notes are now spread out across multiple apps. So rather than being all organised like I was hoping to be, I'm now way less organised with notes going all over the place. And so it's like, it's just like, I was excited to do it. It's like, yeah, this would be a good test. There's not many videos on it online, so hopefully it will do quite well. And ones I have seen are like a couple years old. So hopefully it will get a good bunch of views, and it's something I'm generally interested in. And yeah, man, it's just an ongoing process. I'm on the last note-taking app this week, which is called Notability, which was a solid £10 on the App Store.
Ooh. That's quite a lot, man.
Yeah, man. I kept overthinking it. I was like, it's not a lot because you would spend... how much would you spend in books and paper over years, easily a few hundred? But, not saying that you shouldn't do that. But yeah, that's kind of the thing. I've also got a sponsor on board for it as well, which is really cool. They were really up with the idea, and it fits right in. So that's cool as well. So I'm excited to make it, but I keep foreshadowing. I think I've talked about it 3 or 4 times, and the video I'm doing next week, I mention it again. So now I feel like I've overhyped it to my audience. Like, is this going to be like
your Infinity War?
Yeah, it is. This is my Infinity War. But I'm worried it'll be way too long, bloody boring, and not
your Infinity War, right?
But no, that's kind of the long and short of it. But I'm getting to the light at the end of the tunnel.
So with your note taking, what do you use notes for? What are you making notes about? Is it shopping lists? Is it work stuff?
It's always work stuff. So I'm never like, I don't do a shopping list, funnily enough, despite loving taking notes. It's usually like shot lists. It's like shot lists for videos. It's like loads of general notes with the MCMU work. I do take a lot of notes because I'm not the most, like, I'm quite forgetful, especially if someone throws a lot of information at me. If I'm not like writing it down, I'll miss bits, definitely. And like it just like helps. I actually learned it, funnily enough, at college when I was a tutor, because I was just getting so much shit thrown at me. I just didn't know what to do, so I just started writing down everything everybody said, and that really helped. So now I just kind of do the same, even if it's nothing like that helps. If we have a meeting, I'll take almost like minutes for myself, just so I can go back and like, what did we actually talk about? And I can just read 5 bullet points or something. But yeah, that's what it's mainly for, is just to keep track of what I'm doing. There's so many like apps that are really built into like, they've got a calendar and it does this and it does this and does that. But what I need from the app is so small. I need a blank bit of paper that's like, maybe that's got the date written at the top. Yeah, like, that's literally all I need. So I can go back in and choose multiple notebooks. That's quite cool.
See, I've always had a bit of a problem with my note taking, because I need to take notes, for various different things as well.
Yeah.
And I think my problem is, if I see, this is me going to try and put it into words on the fly now, something that I haven't fixed myself, trying to explain, is the fact that it started to become like read only, or write only, I should say, where I would be making notes, but then never really using them. And so I understand what you mean about how just the act of writing it sometimes is enough. I guess, at least in a part. But it was really becoming that I was just making notes and then never going back to them. But I think that's maybe because I sometimes feel like I would need to organise them in so many different ways. Mm-hmm. And I know you get things like Evernote where you can tag notes, and obviously other stuff as well, where you can tag notes as, okay, so this is to do with music, but it's also... like a diary entry, if you like. So I've written something down, but it's all, it may be. But then I started to fall into the trap of spending so long on the input that it stopped being quick.
Yeah,
and then I'd stop. Well, exactly, because then I stopped doing it altogether. Because then there was just enough of a barrier for me to go, oh, bollocks to this. I'll just remember it, or I'll do it badly and then I won't use whatever system
This is
being
why
used.
I'm such a big fan of like the blank sort of thing. Just write the note. I don't need. This is why you mentioned Evernote. Evernote are actually disqualified from my tier list because they're a pay monthly thing. And I think that's. I don't like the idea of paying monthly for something. So I'm air quoting here for as simple as notes. I'm happy to pay a one-off, but to pay monthly as an ongoing thing, like
I think with Evernote, it's very much aimed at people doing like the big project.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know, and it's like a collaborative thing, and you know, I think that's probably their primary users.
Definitely.
But yeah, man, I mean, because do you use like to-do lists? So not so much like shot list. You know, I'm saying that there might be some crossover here.
Yeah.
But do you use stuff like that if you need to remember to do stuff?
I do sometimes if I really feel like I can't miss these things. But I don't generally. I'll do that within the notes. I'll just at the bottom. I'll just underline it and say today, and just write this has to be done today, sort of thing. I used to have when I worked at college. I used to have a tier system, like similar to maybe what you've done before. But I used to write the note. And then next to it, I put 1, 2, or 3. 1 means today, 2 means tomorrow, 3 means if you can. And then they would all move up 1 a day. So then the notes that I made in number 3 had to be done tomorrow. And then all the 2s would move to today.
Yeah, sure.
It was a simple, really simple system, but it seemed to work all right for me. But I do that very occasionally if I feel like I need to.
Yeah. I mean, that's similar to a system that I've heard people use, but which I don't use. But it's like the today list, and then there's like the this week list, and then there's the this month list.
That's pretty much what it was.
I suppose it's similar sort of ideas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've started using a to-do list a lot more. I've actually because it's taken me a lot. I mean, to-do lists, mate, are just as bad as notes. Because there's lots of crossover. But note taking and to-do lists, man, to find the best one it is a trek.
It is a trek, but I'm on the way.
I started using Microsoft To Do. I mean, I know we use that for this, but I use it for lots of other stuff as well, like work stuff, but just general things to do. You know, like in my life, like buy milk or whatever. And you know what? I think I'm finally getting into a rhythm of using it. I mean, this isn't my own review of Microsoft To Do, but especially because of the way the app can work on a phone, how it can be, you know, how accessible it can be. I remember hearing someone talking a long time ago saying that a lot of the stress, a lot of human stress comes from the worry that you're going to forget something. Mm-hmm. And that really chimed with me. I was like, yeah, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Like, you know, you lie awake in bed at night thinking, oh, shit, I didn't do that today. I need to remember to do that tomorrow. Or just worrying that you'll never plan that holiday that you wanted to go on, or worrying that you'll never get around to finishing that project. It's that fear of not finishing things. And I feel like, I don't know, if there was, not that this is an advice podcast, but I feel like I would want to say to people listening, look, try it. You know, I know it sounds really boring.
Give it a go.
Yeah, give it it's worth doing, man, because I feel like it's made a positive benefit on my life. Mm-hmm. Just to try and have your thoughts organised more. And then you kind of go, right, I don't have to worry about remembering that now. I can just go back to the list.
Kind of builds into the latest video I just uploaded, which were my favourite iPad apps. And one of them is Trello, which is just a list. It's a list maker. That's all it is like, well, it does a lot more than that, but I use it purely to keep those lists. And I've got a list for pretty much everything in there. It's like videos in production, video ideas, videos that have been published, you know, ideas around making the Bite Review live stream, ideas around Instagram posts I want to do, a list of sponsors you're currently working with. There's, you know, everything's in there. And sometimes it's nice to just open to remember where you are. Yeah. Because sometimes you get so into the funk of making one thing, or your week is like fully planned. Like the week I've just had, I didn't work on any Bite Review stuff really. And I spent like a day on it because I was so busy with the other work. And I opened that back up and I was like, okay, there's all the things I was doing. Let's pick up there. It's just nice to see where your brain was at the time when you were making it. But mate, I tend to find, you know, I don't want to keep banging on about notes because I'm sure Randy's really bored of us talking about it now. But I find if I type something, I don't remember it at all. It's such a passive thing for me typing, and I'm really. Do you know? I found this more and more when I type. I think faster than I type. So I'll be thinking about what I'm typing, and sometimes my you know, it sounds like I'm trying to be I'm so good, but I'm really not. My thoughts are so ahead of my words that I'll type I'll type what I'm thinking to say after. Yeah. So I'll be right. I'll write like the end of the sentence before I've even written the middle of it. And I find I do that a lot. Like I don't do that occasionally. I do that at least like 3 or 4 times a day.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what I type. Typing's become very passive for me, but handwriting is still very like engaging. Like I can't, I think it's the actual brush, using the brush, the pen, and all that sort of stuff makes you can't think too far ahead.
I think that makes absolute sense. Absolute sense. I'm just trying to find it now, just while we're talking. I listened to a podcast the other day that was super interesting. It was, to boil it down, it was about how we don't take things in when you read them online.
No,
in the same way that you do when you read them in print, and it's literally can be the same words, exactly the same stuff, But even just doing stuff on a screen means that you retain it less. And
it's not a surprise.
Like you even understand it less. And I mean, some of it is more obvious. I think there have been tests done. This is my own exam on the podcast I listen to. But it's like there have been tests done on if there are more hyperlinks in what you're reading, even if you don't click on them, you understand what you're reading less, because there's a little bit of your brain that goes, "Oh, should we investigate that? Is that worth looking at?" Even if you don't, there's a bit of your subconscious that's wondering about that link. Yeah. And even down to the setup, the fact that you're sitting looking at the same device that you use for your mindless entertainment, for like your Twitter and your Instagram, whatever, or on a screen, you're like we're having this talk now in the same place where I sit and do work. Yeah. So it's really like it's a real head fuck to try and get you into the position where you're like, no, I'm not doing work. I'm doing, and you're trying to tell your brain, no, this might look like work, but this is, the furthest thing from professional work that I'm ever going to do. But it's interesting though, man. It really, and with kids as well, especially with the home learning that's going on at the minute, a load of that's on screens.
Yeah.
And kids are really struggling with it.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I don't know how. I've seen people who read book. I'm not a big book reader, like as you know. But reading a book on an iPad to me sounds dreadful. Like I know a lot of people do that, but I couldn't. No way. Like the Kindle's different because it actually is like paper. Like it actually looks. It's that e-ink. It really does look real. But reading something with a strong backlight, even if you turn the brightness all the way down,
horrible.
Just feels. I struggle to read an entire website on an iPad, for instance.
Yeah. Dude, this little nugget might be of interest to you as well, just because it kind of feels like it sits alongside some stuff we talked about in the past.
Yeah.
Again, bastardized knowledge from this podcast. The chat was saying that Socrates really didn't like the idea of writing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really thought it would be the downfall of civilization. And I mean, there are plenty of people out there who know much more about this than I do. But what I took away from what you're saying was that Socrates believed that it would be bad to gain knowledge without talking to people about it.
Okay.
So being able to just sit by yourself, read something, potentially not understand it, or potentially not understand the context of it, which I kind of get. To be honest,
and then reshare it online,
and then reshare exactly, dude. Exactly right. So no, but dude, this is why it seemed weirdly parallel to today. Because he was arguing that what should happen is you should go and say to your mate, your uncle, you go speak to your uncle, and go, Uncle, how do taxes work?
Yeah,
and your uncle goes, well, tax is what you pay because you want to contribute towards projects that we all have together, and a bit of it might not be spent on stuff that et cetera, et cetera. But because you're talking to someone and you go, so hang on, so the government just wants to steal my money. You've immediately got someone there going, well, no, you've kind of, that's not how I understand it. And you'd have to find someone who did think that for you, which you, so so.
Man, it feels like the same thing though. Like you could go and speak to someone like, oh, how do taxes work? And if you talk to the really opinionated person, it's like, well, it's the government stealing from us. Then suddenly you go, and then you pass that knowledge on. There seems like there's no real difference there, but I know what you mean.
But I mean, but then I suppose the idea is that you'd probably come across more people later, and they go, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, of course.
but you're right though. You are right. It's how weird ideas get started as well. But I thought it was an interesting.
It is interesting that I've been the next video. I guess it's not a spoiler. It's for people that listen to this podcast and also follow my channel.
A trailer.
The next video is going to be like a day in the life of a freelance creator, because that is now officially what I do. And how I use the iPad, because iPad stuff seems to be slapping for me recently. So I'm just kind of staying on that train.
Yeah,
but a day in the life. How I use my iPad throughout the day, because I do use it a lot. And I'll explain all of that. But like half of that is me saying, this is why I write things down on the iPad, why I don't use because there's so many note-taking apps that are based on typing.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't like using, I've got like 2 iPad keyboard attachments, like the really nice official Apple ones. One of them is like 300 quid, which is mad money. But I don't like using it. I think they really wreck the idea of what an iPad's supposed to be. Is like, I want it to be this tiny little pane of glass that I can write on and take around with me and all that sort of stuff. And like, there is this idea floating around that you can use it instead of a laptop, which I did for a week, as you remember in my previous video. But for me, the iPad's still very much a complement to a computer, to a laptop. I don't want it to be my laptop replacement. I want it to be an iPad. Yeah. Not one and the same. But, so I'll explain it all in that video coming up. But
mate, well, we don't want to spoil the video, but that sounds interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it's the quest. I guess the long and short is the quest for the perfect note taking app is a really, really long one.
Oh man,
because mate, it's not only to wrap it up. Not only have I got to test out the app, I've actually got to use the app. I think there's a real difference between testing it and actually using it.
Sure,
so I'm spending at least a week on each one. So that's already 6 weeks of just testing out. Yeah, my life for your benefit down the drain. But yeah, it should be good. I'm starting at the real low end, so it starts off with like Google Keep.
Okay, yeah.
Which is a free app, cross-platform. Lots of good little features in there, but. Anyway, I'll stop talking about it now.
Oh man, it's fine, dude. You do you, mate. Speaking of things that you're putting together and cobbling together, mate. What is going on with that Switch?
Okay, so this is a story all about how I made a right. So recently,
just take a deep breath.
Recently, Callie's been playing a lot more Animal Crossing again. Recently, her nephew plays it. And she'll go on with him. And it had a bit of a... I'm not sure how. She played it with her nephew for about, I don't know, an hour or something. And then after she got off, she carried on playing it. And that week turned into a real, renaissance for Animal Crossing in our household.
I see, yeah.
She's playing it a lot. I was asking questions about it again. I was like, oh, yeah, we should do this, we try and do that. And she's, redesigning our island and all that sort of stuff. I was like, oh, it's really cool. It's a really relaxing game. And I sold my Switch Lite not too long ago to a friend, so I don't have a Switch anymore. We've got one in the house, but it is Callie's, but it does stay on the TV, so I still have full access to it and all that sort of thing.
I'm still allowed.
Yeah. I just thought, I wonder how much a Switch is at the moment, because you can't buy a PS5 and you can't buy the new Xbox because they're just out of stock everywhere. So it turns out the same is for the Switch. The Switch is also out of stock everywhere. They're just video game consoles are really popular at the moment. I guess it's because people are staying inside more. But there's also that rumor, not the rumor, it's scalpers buying it and then reselling and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But you can't, apart from the odd special edition Switch, like a Mario special one or anything, you can't actually buy them new anywhere. They're out of stock everywhere.
Wow.
So I'm making the story quite long here. I don't really need to. We basically when we bought that Switch about a year on the original Switch, one of the Joy-Cons died, just stopped working, so we had to buy a new one. It works when it's attached to the Switch, but doesn't work if it's detached. Okay. So I thought, I wonder if you could buy on eBay just the tablet only, just because the Switch comes in bits. So I was like, can you just buy the actual tablet? Because then I can buy a left Joy-Con and use that old broken Joy-Con and then effectively have a Switch for cheap.
Yeah,
because
sure.
that one still works. I had no intention of disconnecting the Joy-Cons and using it wirelessly.
Okay.
I just wanted to be able to play Animal Crossing again, basically. Well, no, there's some other reasons too, but so I found a Switch online on eBay it was like a version 2. There's 2 versions of the Switch now. One's got a much better battery life.
Yeah,
and
sure.
it was 160 quid. Buy it now just for the tablet. And I was like,
okay.
oh, that's not bad. You know,
Yeah.
You know, I'll go for one of those. So I kind of watched it for a few days, and I've watched some other Switches go. And on eBay, because they're so hard to buy, they're all going for like a pre-owned one is going to cost you like 280 quid, which is the price of a brand new one.
Yeah.
Which is just mad. I was like, I'm not paying that for it. So I bought this Switch tablet. Fantastic. It arrives, looks great. Connected that Joy-Con to it, doesn't work.
Oof.
I was like, oh, that's annoying. Maybe it just needs charging up because I haven't used it in a long time. So I left it connected for ages. Nothing. Next day, nothing. You know. So the Joy-Cons for Switch are, I guess they're so expensive because they do lots of things, but they're £60. So it's £60 for a pair of Joy-Cons. So bear in mind, I've already spent 160 on the tablet. So that slowly pushes it up to the 220 kind of area.
Yes.
Because this is I kind of had the idea is actually I want to build the Switch into a desk setup and have it, and you know I'll make a video around that eventually about having a Switch at all times that to a computer and that sort of thing. You know, and this kind of also builds into that kind of idea I had for live streaming if I do go down that route eventually to play a bit of Zelda or Switch, whatever. So yeah, I'm on 220 quid, bear in mind. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to need a dock if I want to play it connected to anything.
Yeah.
So, right, look up docks online. Nintendo don't sell docks anymore on their own. You can't buy them. So you can buy them pre-owned, and obviously the prices of those have also skyrocketed. So they're about 60 quid for a dock. And I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't bother buying a dock that's mad. Anyway, you can buy third-party docks. And but there's all these like the third-party docks that can brick consoles. So it's like, oh my god, I don't want to brick a console. So I did loads of research. I managed to find a dock which copies the internals of the other dock, you know, the official dock. So I got one of those, and it was 30 quid. And it looks really nice. In fairness, it's like a nice, slim, sort of cool little thing.
Yeah, sure.
Great. So I bought that. Plugged it all in. Doesn't work. And I'm like, why doesn't it work? So bear in mind, I'm up to 250 quid now on this pre-owned weird.
This is better be a lot of Animal Crossing.
Yeah. So and then I was like, oh, why doesn't it work? And I realised it's because I was reading all these like forum posts and all that sort of stuff. You have to use a Switch official plug to power it because it's USB-C. So I was hoping it would just work at power delivery.
I see.
Which is like a normal. I think it's like a cross-platform. It's what Mac uses. It's what the Xbox uses. All that sort of stuff is like a very. Loads of phones use it.
It's the way that different companies play nicer with each other, right? So they make it easy on consumers.
Yeah. So Nintendo doesn't. It does. It uses like a different version of power delivery, and you've got to buy the official power pack for it. So it's like, okay, fine. God. How much are these? Maybe I can get pre-owned one. Yeah. Looking online, obviously the prices have gone up just because they have. So I got one on Amazon for 25 quid. So we're pushing 275 quid now for a Switch, a pre-owned Switch, basically. The price has still gone up. It's all in it's all in bits as well. So there's no warranty. Like everything's separate. And then I realised not too long ago I pre-ordered the new Mario game because I really wanted it.
Yeah, sure. This is Bowser's Fury.
Yeah, 3D World and Bowser's Fury, which is awesome.
That looks amazing. Yeah, that looks brilliant.
I realised, I pre-ordered that at full cost. So that's 45 quid. And I just thought. And then Nintendo put out a Switch, like a brand new Switch with Mario built in, all these extra little features, carry case, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And it was like, I don't know, 280 quid. And I was like, I've just bought like a Switch in pieces, so everything in bits, and I've spent 320 quid now with the game. And it was just such a it started off with such good intentions. It's like, this will be a way to get a Switch for cheap. Yeah. I'll buy a Joy-Con on the side because you can buy them separately, and it would have costed me like 180 quid to play a Switch again and have a fully working Switch. So yeah, there's my overpriced Switch story.
Dude, sometimes life is about owning up to your mistakes.
It is. It was. I'd like to say it was a mistake, but do you know what? I've actually really, really loving having one again. It's cool. It's definitely delivered the enjoyment again. Especially that new Mario game is awesome.
Yeah,
3D World and Bowser's Fury. But
we should, just as a side note, we should not now, but we should talk about that with a few more play hours under your belt. Man, we should talk about that because what I've seen of it looks incredibly good.
Yeah. It's great. So that's kind of the story. It's but like I said, I've been really enjoying it. It's nice having it on my desk setup as well.
Yeah.
Because when I hit export on a video, because the Switch will intelligently switch with your monitor, I just turn it on, and the monitor just switches to the Switch. I can just play you can play 4 or 5 levels of Mario while it exports something.
Okay.
And then I just switch it back and just tap the keyboard, and it will switch back to the PC.
Yeah.
So it's really nice having it on the desk setup. I'm quite excited to make a video around it. But yeah, that's a long overboard story about how I spent too much money on a Switch.
Even if it is like a cautionary tale of don't do this.
Just do some research.
Man. I don't know. Sometimes like the long way around has unexpected benefits. I mean, this does not sound like one of those times. Absolutely not. But sometimes
couldn't be any further from it.
Well, you learn things along the way, you get more resilient, all the rest of it. But man, that's a shame. I'm glad you've got it sorted out though.
Yeah, it's all cool. It's all cool.
Mate, just ready for the slickest segue in the world. But I mean, talking about bolting together interesting bits of technology, and shooting them off onto another planet, maybe. NASA landed on Mars again.
Yeah,
Perseverance touched down. That's really cool, man. That's really
it's
cool.
Awesome news, isn't it?
I mean, when are we recording this? We're recording this on a Saturday. Was it yesterday? It was Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because the first thing I saw on bear in mind my Twitter feed is very heavily full of tech people and all that sort of thing. The first video I think was like in black and white or something. It just looked really awful. Yeah. And the first, someone retweeted and said, all this technology to make it go there, and we've got phones that can shoot 8K and they strap a potato to it. Why? that made me laugh. But yeah, no, man, it's awesome. I saw a full colour video this morning.
Yeah. I mean, it's just incredible, man. I mean, look, we've talked about space exploration, I guess, before, but just the fact that we can even do it, I don't think people understand. Oh no, that's maybe been a bit disingenuous. I think there's a lot more to it than you would perhaps assume. Firing something up and going, oh, there's Mars, go there. But it's not. It's the calculations of where Mars is going to be in 7 months' time.
Yeah, man.
And just how much of space isn't Mars.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
It's a very small target to hit.
It's a very small target in a very big place, unimaginably small. And we can just fire it on the right trajectory and go, yep, there you go. We're on Mars now.
What boggles my mind from the video I watched this morning is just how normal it looks. There's all the video footage of it just looking around, and it just looks like a place on Earth. It just looks really normal. It's not the floor is red, I guess, and there's mountains and stuff, but it looks like you're on Mars. What did you expect? Here it is.
Dude. It looks, the fact that it looks so ordinary is part of the magic for me, I think.
I me too. In a way, that's more exciting than if it was I don't know, someone. Actually, it wouldn't be as exciting if someone walked up to the Mars rover and picked it up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you. I get a really weird feeling when I'm looking at pictures like that. And I don't know whether this is something that other people get or whether this is just me being weird. But when I look at pictures like that, I try and think to myself, well, that is actually out there. Yeah. That's a place that is happening right now. I don't know if I'm explaining my thoughts very well here, but it's that weird kind of sense of scale and how tiny I am. Thought that is happening now. I could, if I was, if there was magic around, I could be there. I could be on Mars, and I would be seeing. It's not in a book, and it's not about hearing about it. There's something about seeing and knowing. Yeah, that's a camera. It's like me talking to you now. Through a video call. Mars is as close as you are for me. Yeah. And I don't know, it's so incredible, man. It's so incredible.
It's mad, isn't it?
I mean, have you seen much about the mission? About what they're doing out there? So I'm
not sure what they're trying to find.
Yeah, they're trying to find life or signs of life, signs of old life that used to be on Mars. Obviously, they'll do other tests as well. They'll do other bits of science while they're up there. Sure. Excuse me. But the primary focus is finding signs of bacteria and whatever life might have been up there. So they're collecting samples from the rocks to try and find, say footprints, for want of a better word. But it's incredible how far forward they're actually thinking, because what they're doing, they're collecting samples, drilling into the rock, finding likely bits of rock, that looks interesting, drilling it, taking a sample, sealing it up inside like a canister, and then flinging it out the window onto the ground. And then what they're planning to do with future missions is they're working with lots of, like the European Space Agency, I think they're working with, and other companies as well. They're going to send another mission to Mars, where the job is basically, it's another kind of rover thing that they're going to land and collect these samples back up.
Pick them up
and put them into a little rocket. And the rocket is able to leave Mars.
That's incredible.
So the rocket, but then there's another mission which is going to go out and orbit Mars. So that mission will pick up the rocket from Mars orbit and send it back to Earth. And they reckon the whole process, it'll be about 2031 by the time that we get those samples back. So this dude, isn't that just incredible? Like the thinking behind it. Like to go, okay, well this is just going to take time. Like it is what it is. You know, we're planting a tree here. This is going to take a few years before we see the results. But the mission that's there now is taking samples that won't be back on Earth for 10 years.
You think they'd spoil in the time, but I guess it's all sealed up tight, isn't it?
I guess that's part of it, yeah. But I mean, that's going to be, mate, I'm so into this. I'm so excited by things like this. The fact that we're going to be, you know, all things being well, barring COVID-23 or whatever, we're going to see another planet come to Earth in our lifetime.
That is mad.
That's just insane. Yeah. I mean, I was saying this to my dad. In 2,000 years, you know, humans might look back on the quaint early days of, you know, when we were like children struggling to reach to the nearest planet. And now in 2,000 years, we're off with new technology. We're able to explore the rest of the galaxy, and it's, you know, don't give it any thought. But we're going to be alive to see the first contact, if you like, with another planet.
Yeah, that's true. That's a big moment.
I think in the early days of the podcast, when Elon Musk was still in favour, we talked a lot about Mars exploration with SpaceX.
Yeah.
And that still holds, man. The idea that we're going to see human beings land on another planet in our lifetime.
Do you reckon they'd like, you know, let's say 2,000 years time or something? Do you reckon they'd say pre and post? Like that's how they'd mark years. They'd be like, well, that was pre-Mars or like pre-space travel.
Yeah,
so,
maybe.
Like, you know, years would then, you know, count on from there as such. Like, that was back in this age where people couldn't space travel before BT or something.
I mean, dude, but let's think about it. I mean, because there was obviously a time before humans got in boats, and I know that was pre-written history, but at the same time, we don't even think about that distinction now. No. So maybe at one point it'll be so long ago, and space travel will be so normal that people are like, oh yeah, what you mean we just stayed on the one planet?
Yeah, it would be bonkers to them.
Yeah.
So what if you didn't like it there? How would you get out?
Yeah, what did you do? Yeah, what did you do? Dude, I mean, that's just, it's just so incredible, man. Until we get zapped by the aliens, you know, who are like...
It makes you wonder how far technology will go until, like, what's the most technology advanced thing me and you will see in our lifetime?
Yeah.
Like, when we're both 80, assuming we get there, with the old men's lifespan not as good as women.
Just a reminder. Yeah.
Just a reminder, yeah. I wonder what the highest bit of tech will be that we see before, like, that's as much as we'll see.
Yeah. I know
that'll be really interesting.
I know what I would like to see, but it's purely from a kind of boring strategic point of view, I guess. I want to see Neuralink come to fruition.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to get too sidetracked on that, but yeah. but if they can, because again, only because this came up in a conversation I was having earlier, if we could get to the stage where you could just copy my brain and put it in something for safekeeping, cool, fine. Like, even if it's my brain when I'm a bigoted old, very right-wing 80-year-old man,
right-leaning Britain first.
Yeah. Look, we just need to look after our own at that point.
Yeah.
Right? So
Britain prevails.
Yeah. Then, I feel like that would be a cool thing to see in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you
mate,
think?
I don't know. The more I think about it, I'm really not sure. I like the idea, because as someone that enjoys games, I like the idea that you could like put some sort of headset on and go somewhere else. But what would I like to see? It's probably not going to be great for the human race. The whole Ready Player One sort of scenario where people start living in that world rather than the real one. I honestly don't know. I think I'd like, you could go down the route of I'd like to see. I guess what I'd like to see is renewable energy becoming the new coal.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
So boring. I'm so bored.
Mate. No, dude, I completely get that. Yeah, that'd be nice.
I'd like it to get to the point where it's like, well, no, why would you use coal? That's so inefficient. You'd use this because it's totally renewable.
Yeah, and not poisonous.
It doesn't harm the planet and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. I guess my selfish view is some sort of VR where it's completely immersive. Yeah. My unselfish view is renewable energy for all.
World peace.
For all mankind. But, I guess.
Dude, sorry, man. While I think about it, this is going to be such a come down from these lofty heights we've been talking about.
Yeah.
But just think about the Mars rover. There is something else that it does. Have you seen the helicopter that it's got?
No, man, I haven't seen that much about it other than those couple of videos.
Okay. So, because this is worth a mention, only because, look, man, this is no space travel, this is no kind of virtual reality, but it's got a drone strapped underneath it,
my God.
which they obviously haven't tested yet. They probably won't launch it for weeks, while they get it ready. But it's basically a little drone helicopter. Imagine like a little cone with a chopper blade on top of it.
Yeah.
It's the most basic kind of thing, But basically, so the Perseverance would drop it on the ground and then back away. I don't know why I'm wheeling away for your benefit. So visually, you get the whole experience.
Yeah, I wouldn't get it otherwise.
You know what it looks like. So if it wheels backwards, it wheels off it, leaving the drone on the ground. And then they're like, this is it's more of a technology demonstration or a technology test.
Sure.
So it's like we think, they've obviously tested it as well as they can here. But they're like, we'll be able to fly on Mars. That's something we will be able to do.
That's incredible.
So I don't know how. I'm not picturing it being very acrobatic, mainly because of the delay in the controls. But it will be like right, launch and hover at 30 feet. Now go to this coordinate, and then now go to that coordinate. And then just land again and get picked up again by the rover. But that's
does it
cool,
actually
man.
have that? Sorry, did you say it's got that?
Yeah, it's got that. It's got that on it. And
I was going to say, there's no reason why not, because drones are so like cheap and doable nowadays. Like, why on earth wouldn't you throw one in?
Exactly. I think.
Mate, do you have any idea what the delay is between like a control input and it doing it?
I don't know. It's minutes. It's in the order of minutes.
Okay, that's not so bad then. I thought it'd be like, we'll check back tomorrow when it's done it.
Okay, communication between... because I'm interested to hear this now. 12 minutes.
12 minutes?
Yes. Yeah. Yes,
12 minutes isn't too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not too bad. But that's why, of course, why it was nerve-wracking when they landed, because you have that time between when it's actually landed or crashed and when you find out whether it's landed or crashed. Yeah. Oh, man, can you tell I'm into it? I'm sorry, I get so excited talking about stuff like this.
Mate, one of the things that I'd love to be in the room of one day is like when like a rocket takes off or something lands and everyone cheers. I bet the feeling is just so ecstatic.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the atmosphere must be incredible. It's like,
even
when like there's those videos of just the rocket taking off and Elon Musk watching and like loads of people come out to see it. It's like they bring out barbecues and, check it out, watch the rocket take off. Like, I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Watch the rocket.
Dude, go on. Dude, it's so cool, man. There's nothing quite like space travel to ignite the kid in you.
Yeah, it's very like, it's the ultimate sci-fi, isn't it? Space travel is the one.
Yeah.
Of all the things.
I mean, talking about sci-fi, just to wrap up, this is I don't do this intentionally, but this is probably just a short Ben's rec. Only because I started reading a comic book. It's an older comic book called Invincible,
right?
And man, I would just want to recommend it because it's just really good. So the reason it's on Image Comics, right? So for those in the know, it's not like your Marvel or your DC. It's separate to the big comic.
The big two.
the big guys. But I think Image did Spawn or do Spawn as well. So they're, they've got there are
some
people might be more familiar with. Invincible is being made into a cartoon on Amazon.
Right.
I don't remember when it's coming out, but I know they've released a trailer for it, so it's incoming. And whenever I've seen people talk about Invincible, they've always said, "Oh yeah, it's really good." It's kind of I don't want to say more mature, but it's not your standard. It's like, I don't know if people have ever read. I'm not expecting this our listenership to have a heavy comic book, but if people have read Miracle Man, that sort of thing, or maybe Watchmen as well. I guess it's not quite there, but it's Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. The TV series looks pretty good. And people have always said about the comic book, how are they going to deal with this twist? Or, the big twist that happens kind of early on, or this. And I'm thinking to myself, right, I want to read this at some point, and I'm damned if I'm going to have it spoiled for me by people talking about the TV show when that comes out. So I was like, right, time to get down to it. I think it was released in maybe 2002, 2003.
Yeah, it's quite old then.
It's quite, it's and it's finished, which is another good thing. It's finished its run.
Cool.
So you can buy all of it. And know that it's gonna wrap up, Mate, it's really good. It's just really good. It's about a boy who comes into his superpowers, being the son of the world's basically Superman. It's like this, he's like this all powerful hero of Earth.
Your Homelander.
And this, basically, your Homelander Superman style kind of power set. And it's just about him growing into his powers. And learn, and as a teen, learning how to be in that world, meeting other superpowered people and what have you. But it's not as simple as that. And I would just encourage people, if they're looking for a comic book, maybe even if you haven't read comic books before, if you're interested in maybe picking something up that isn't your Spider-Mans, your Supermans, your Batmans, just something that's a bit different and has a bit more something interesting to it. And I say the twists are part of that, but it's also enjoyable in its own right. I don't want to say too much more about it because I don't want to spoil it in case people are going to read it. But you can buy it in big collection sets.
Nice.
Where it's like lots of issues together in a big book, so you can buy it in chunks if you wanted to read it like that. Yeah, and I just wanted to mention it because I really enjoy it. I haven't finished it, by no means finished it. I'm about a third of the way through the run, and it's just good
so far.
It's just good unless it severely drops off. Then I won't check back in about it, but I'll let you know if it turns out to be crap in the closing. The closing. But yeah, man, it's just good. It's just something I enjoyed. Invincible, I would recommend it to people if they wanted something like that.
Cheeky Ben's Rex.
Got one in. Dude, like I say, it's never deliberate. I know we've got this like Ben's Rex. It's definitely not something I intended.
Mate, Ben's Rex is the new Tom's Good News.
Oh, mate, we should... we haven't had good news in ages. Okay, right, plan for next time.
I'll get some good news in next time.
Get ready.
Get ready for some good news.
I'm glad I didn't talk over that because I'm keeping that. That's definitely going to go in. Nate, we should wrap up. I think that's the show. That's everything we have to talk about. If people have got this far, then if you're into it, please leave us a review. This is a direct call to action. I recently started using Podcast Addict.
Right.
The app for my podcasts. And if you use something like that or Apple Podcasts, if you use anything like that, it's really easy to leave a review. You can just do it in the app. You just literally I think, on the episode, you go, I want to leave a review. 5 stars, whatever nonsense. I mean, maybe if we start...
5 stars is fine.
Mate, with our... Genuinely, I don't normally discuss things like this on air, but with the increase in listeners that we've had... We've actually got a handful of reviews. If we start getting a few more, dude, I might start reading some out. If we get some more, then so who knows? Dude. If you want to have your review read out on the show, just leave a good review. And who knows? If there's some that are funny or some that are good, I might start reading them out.
Start the review with the code phrase Ben's Rex.
Ben's Rex.
and then we'll read it out.
Yeah, actually, mate, I should leave a review. I haven't left a review yet. I'll leave the best review.
No. 3 out of 5. It's okay.
It's all right.
Not for me.
Don't like the sound of that one guy.
Imagine, one guy is just so annoying.
So please, leave us a review. You know what? We've actually seen a bit of traction with the podcast. which is nice. I'm not going to go on about it.
Which is nice.
Well, it is. It's cool. It is nice. But if you have, if you're enjoying it, maybe tell people about it. Force it. Just shove it down their throats. Really, really make them sick of you talking about it until they tell you they've listened to it. And we'll know. We'll know if they're telling the truth. Tom, if people want to tell you directly online, where can they send you messages?
It's at the Old Bike Review, absolutely everywhere. But where can they find Ben?
They can find me at benjuonlung on all sorts of things. And I didn't tell you this, but I thought it might be wise just to snap up ITSBUP at gmail.com.
Oh, did you? Nice one.
So we own that now. Yeah. I just had this thought just in case it wasn't available down the line. So, hey, you can actually, I'm not expecting this to be very popular, but you can email the podcast directly at itsbup at gmail.com if you'd like.
That's a good shout.
And that's it. That's everything. Until next time, Tom, go in peace, brother. Have a good time. Enjoy the rest of lockdown.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.